Welcome back to the Funsie podcast. What did you guys enjoy watching disc golf at the Olympics this weekend? I know I did. It was super cool.
Dude, I want disc golf at the Olympics so bad. It
How
feels like the
often?
perfect. They have like freaking table tennis. They have like ice skating. Like, why isn't
Yeah.
disc golf there?
How often
Why?
did you guys
Why?
hear that this weekend? Like
Not
I
at
didn't
too
hear it
all.
at
often?
all.
That was my first
No.
time.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been
Yeah.
I've been like glued to the Olympics this year, which is really funny because in
Okay.
years past I
Yeah.
would watch it but not really care, and this year I'm like, okay, free time. I'm doing whatever, like editing, throw it on. So
Yeah.
it's been fun. Like I've really been enjoying it. It doesn't make sense, like the rest of the year not really watching sports otherwise aside from disc golf and like some hockey, but
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
Yeah. You say like, how much did you hear that? Were the announcers talking about it?
About disc golf?
No, probably
Yeah.
his buddies.
No, not at all. No, yeah,
Oh.
just like you just see people online being like, "Yo, why is it not in the Olympics yet?" And oh, dude, right off the bat, another half fact brought to you by Funsie Podcast. I believe back in the '90s they had disc golf in the Olympics because Juliana
Wait,
Korver
what?
was like over in Japan, I think, right? And they had like an
Okay,
entire
we
course
got
set up.
we have to look that up.
I'm pretty sure about that. Hey, by all means, yeah, look that one up, guy. But yeah, I'm sure it'll happen. The logistics of it, if I had to guess, it takes up a lot of land, but then at the same time, you have mountain biking that's like right outside of Paris right now, and they're doing that just fine. So who knows?
Oh, the International World Games Association announced in May that disc golf will be a medal sport at Chengdu 2025. So the 2025 World Games will have disc golf in it, and supposedly they thought that it was a potential that the Olympics this year would have disc golf, but maybe since in 2025 the World Games will have disc golf, and then in the 2032 Olympics in Brisbane, disc golf will be there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
could be
see
cool.
disc golf free now.
This information is from. Did you guys ever listen to the Flight Diaries, which was Brian Earhart's podcast that I used to do all
Yeah.
the time, and it was just an amazing
Of
podcast.
course.
He
Which
hasn't
which
done it in a
world
while.
which Olympics would it be?
Dude, I listened to that
Japan.
episode like 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. Yeah, I believe
It might have been
she said
something
Japan.
metal based, but yeah, because they have Whiff Diff, which is like the world frisbee thing, where other countries go and compete against each other. Like I'm pretty sure they have it every year. It might not even be Whiff Diff related. I think it is, but like I've seen Team USA people go to last year, like another country overseas to compete. And then yeah, I saw like a recently, maybe not sure if it was at Maple Hill or maybe it was at like USTGC's course, but a team of like Colombia recently like came up and a bunch of other teams competed against each other as
Well,
if it was
well,
the Olympics, but obviously it's not.
what's crazy is if disc golf actually gets into the Olympics in 2032, will Paul Macbeth and Ricky Wysocki be playing?
Yes.
That I feel like that's an interesting like thing to think about.
I feel like they
that's
have
8
to.
years. That's 8 years from now.
I
They're
think
both in their
they'll-
30s, right?
Oh, you're saying the amount of time. I get what you're saying.
Like they're not.
Maybe
I don't
Paul
know,
will be
man.
the coach.
Yeah, that would be sick. That would be sick. But like
Yeah.
for sure, Gannon 100%.
Mhm.
A lot of these younger guys, yeah, for sure. But like how many competing spots are there? Like for golf, it's not
Who
that
knows?
many, right? Like for regular
No.
golf, I don't think it's a many amount of qualifiers. So like it's interesting to think about. Like I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe they don't care about it. If I was in their position, I would have cared. I would have been like 2024 or bust, because by 2032, they're
Poor bust.
That's their
they might
slogan.
not be in their prime anymore. Like by then, Jay Milley will be the representation of the U.S. disc golf.
Let's go.
Ooh, I can't wait. Hey, I mean, European disc golf right now almost feels like the Olympics. Like there are so many different countries that are involved there, which is really cool to see.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
Well,
what-
that would be interesting because it's right now it's U.S. versus Europe, but in the Olympics, all those Europe players would be broken up into their actual countries. Like Estonia
Yeah.
would be bussing.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
we will get into that later in the episode, but the course that they played at this weekend over in Estonia, let's just say Estonian disc golf is playing in the year 2020, 2050 right now.
Yes.
I mean, it is
Yeah,
just
what?
ridiculous.
What the frig, dude?
Yeah, we'll go over.
Yeah, we can move
Should I
on.
touch on last week's episode? I mean,
Yeah,
Josh,
let's talk about it.
we had a great episode. I was very stoked on it. It was a solid hour and 28 minutes. I saw that number all too often as I was trying to, because I'm just
Save
like,
it.
oh, yeah, trying to save it and could not, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So
if
it
you
sucked.
didn't see, we tried to film an episode last week. It didn't work. And then
Unfortunately.
Sajko did a solo episode, clutched up. But the episode we recorded was fire, dude. I low-key went off. So I don't know. I'm like on
Maybe
the
it's not
fence
the
about.
worst thing because he was
Yeah,
like,
I was
do I call these
flaming.
people out right now? Do I call these people out
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah, I was flaming some manufacturers and stuff like that. So it was a fun
No.
episode, but maybe it's not the end of the world that doesn't see the light of day.
No,
Wanna
I don't
burn
think
some
I don't
bridges.
think it was super inflammatory. I mean, it's just
No, it wasn't.
I think
that bad.
it's important just to like speak openly about things, and it's not at you're not talking trash or anything like that. So
long
think it was
story
fine.
short, I essentially said that I truly believe that disc golf has such a high ceiling in terms of like user base, people playing, whatever. And I just don't think that the major manufacturers are doing a very good job of promoting that. So
Yeah, it's kind of
that's my take.
It's kind of to go off on that. I was thinking about this yesterday, and I've thought about it a lot. How like what other? There's no other sport. That I was trying to think yesterday and sit down. There's no other sport where to play it you have to buy a bunch of different things, and you could buy hundreds like of the different. Like I'm talking about discs. Like golf, you have one set of golf clubs. Basketball, you have a basketball. I think disc golf's so unique and has so much potential because you can have thousands of discs and people are going to choose different discs and different runs, and like it's so much easier also to like sell your own disc with your branding and name on it because people want to support you, and people, like I said, throw different things. Like for example, like Hooligan Disc, up and coming company, and they can kind of enter their way into the market with these Innovas because it's so unique, because every single player needs at least like 20 discs, and if there's like let's say just there's 500,000 people in the world playing disc golf, and I know some are going to be casual and stuff like that, but everyone needs at least a few discs, and I think it's like the only sport in the world where the things you use to play, there's like so much options and opportunity with them, and I can't think of anything else like it.
The only thing that I can think of, not a sport, but coming from like I love playing guitar, so a big thing is like people love to buy different pedals. So pedals and guitar are used to create different sounds. So you have like distortion, flange, reverb, bunch of stuff. You can combine all those, and that's a huge thing in guitar playing. People love to find, like same thing as disc golf, all the old vintage pedals, like all the new stuff that's coming out. So that's the only thing that I can really compare it to. But I think that's why I'm drawn to this sport, because of the creative side of it, that you can just throw anything, and that's cool to me.
I feel like a comparison could be made to like books, like a disc is like one book, because like it serves a purpose, but also with a book, you could buy a book and never read it. It's common for people to buy a disc and never throw it, or like buy a disc and use it once and then never throw it again, and it just sits on a shelf. I feel like that's a very I feel like it meshes up very well, because there's publishing houses who just sell books and promote them, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's
No,
comparable.
I think that's great, because you can know what a book's about, and you're like, oh, I know what this book is about, but then you read it and you're like, oh no, this is actually what this book's about. Kind of comparing it to like the flight of a disc. You're like, oh, this so like for example, I know people are talking about the last howl right now, like the last PD, like Colton Montgomery PD, and I believe it's
is
like
he leaving the team?
I think he's just moving on to a different disc. He's just okay. He just wants to do a different one. And,
he did the CD
people
one
are
last
saying,
year, which makes no sense.
Yeah. He anyways, it's like a straighter run of PD. So PD is usually like pretty overstable.
It's like the Nordic Phenom of last
Yeah.
year. Is my
Yeah,
guess
you
what
you
it
would
is.
think that it's supposed to be overstable, but then you throw it and you're like, oh, it's like pretty fairly neutral-ish. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a good comparison. Is my point.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's just I don't know. I just think it. I think there will always be a market for in disc golf, like a booming market, because of that. Because it's accessible and it's cheaper compared. Like one disc is and every new disc that comes out, it's like justifiable to buy. Like everything else is like, I don't need a new basketball. I don't need a new like
Yeah.
I have the same baseballs. They're all the same. I don't need a new set of clubs. Like maybe hardcore people buy a new set of clubs every year or something like that. Sorry if you can hear chainsaw in the background. That's just what we're gonna have to deal with. But
Not really.
but disc is just like, if you pan to my left here, I probably have like 100 discs in front of me, and there will just always be a market of people buying discs, and I think it's just so unique, and that's what I love about disc golf. That there's always opportunity, and growth through that avenue.
Well, this is something that we actually discussed last week, and it's funny, like you talking about that reminded me. I think we're getting to a certain point where disc sales are declining. So,
Yes,
like,
100%.
what do manufacturers do now? Because they can only put out a new disc, be like, oh, here's a new disc, because sometimes it feels like they're like, we need to put out a new disc to stay relevant,
New
or
plastic.
we can change new plastic all the time. So I think that's why you have the tone plastic and Project Grip and stuff right now, and it almost feels like multiple manufacturers are like battling over this, because it's like, okay, this is like the hot new thing. Like, how many times can you really update a disc to like make it exciting to people to want to buy? So yeah,
Well-
it was okay. Yeah, go for it.
I was
Yeah, you go.
no, I
You
was
go
just literally, I was one sentence. I mean, look what Trash Panda just released. It was the only other thing like it
Right.
that I've seen is the Epic. They're constantly innovating and trying to capitalize on that market of like what's new, what's fresh. Jamie Lee, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like that is the point that led me to say disc golf manufacturers need to go outside of disc golf more and try to bring
Yeah.
people in.
Yeah.
Because, okay, disc sales are going down. Yes, you can release tone or grippy plastic or whatever new technology. That's awesome. Like, that's going to get people that already play the sport to buy those kinds of discs. But if you go outside of disc golf to someone who doesn't play, that just opens up all of your discs to them. And now they have to buy 50 Discraft discs to get the whole selection, and your disc sales start skyrocketing again because you're bringing new people into the sport who have 0 discs versus trying to sell a new disc to someone who already has 100, 200, doesn't need any new discs.
Yeah. Yeah, do you think maybe we're looking at the wrong thing as you're saying that, where maybe it's not so much discs, maybe it's the courses that people have in their area, or like things that they can play?
Ooh.
Because there are certain courses you don't really see people going out of their way. What is the name of that course in Denver area that's like the most heavily used?
Roberts.
Like,
Johnny Roberts.
yeah, Roberts. At least I've never heard of anyone being like, oh man, I'm going on vacation for that course. And that's like a kind of course that is just great, I think, for any skill level. Like, people can go there and just have a good time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
But of course, you'll hear Maple Hill, which does have shorter layouts. But I think there's like this weird obsession in the sport with championship level courses, and those, of course, need to exist. But I think courses that appeal to everyone will do.
I
Get
think
more people involved overall.
kind of to go on that, I think the reason Maple Hill is so popular and is a destination course is because the red layout, which is their easiest layout, is the most played course. I barely play red anymore, but I
Really?
think as we get more into the sport of disc golf, we tend to forget like a majority of disc golfers are like beginner players that can't throw that far, are just
Right.
or are just learning, because as the sport keeps booming and growing, it's just naturally how it's going to be. Like if we introduce 500,000 more people today and they all started playing, like they would all obviously be beginners. Now
And they'd want to play Johnny Roberts, not Maple Hill.
yeah,
Could be.
but what I'm saying is, I think I think it's because Maple Hills. If Maple Hill just had the red layout or just the gold, I don't think it's as desirable to travel to. That's what I'm saying. I think courses that are destination courses need to have multiple layouts, and I think that's what we kind of see in the. I'm only speaking for like Eagles Crossing, Smuggler's Notch,
Yeah.
Fox Run, Maple Hill. I know those are in the top 10. And I think that's what we see, and I think that's really what makes them destination, as opposed to Johnny Roberts. You go, you play once, and it's cool, but it is it worth the trip out, because once you play the
Well,
pitch and putt, you know, you've played
I
it.
think the point that Sacco's trying to make is that while destination courses are good, that is inherently only for someone that's a seasoned disc golfer. In
Correct.
order for us to grow the sport, we need more courses like Johnny that are just bussing because they are like fun for the
It
beginner all
brings
the
in
way
people from
through.
outside.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
yeah,
like
that's
Johnny
why.
Roberts is just a regular park. And when I played it a few times now, there have been people walking and been like, "What are you doing?" Or like, just like genuinely interested in what's happening, and then like potentially that could just turn into, "Oh, I'll try that out one day," because that looks attainable, easy, fun. And so I think the solution is a meshing. Like I feel like from what I hear, I haven't played Maple Hill, I really want to, but from what I'm hearing about Maple Hill is it has that destination pro tour championship course that appeals to the disc golfer, but it also has the shorts reds,
It
which is
has the
like,
Johnny. That's what I'm saying. It has the
yeah,
Johnny. That's what I was saying. I think
yeah,
all courses need to realize, like, cater more
mhm,
towards that easier side. That's what we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
for
Um,
sure.
I think all courses need to cater to that easier side, because that's the majority. I'm just mentioning Maple Hill because you think Maple Hill, number one course in the world. Their number one layout is the easiest, most, like, I could shoot 7 down on it. I also shot +7 in a tournament this year at
It's
it.
really
But
fun though.
anyways,
It's really good.
but I'm just saying, I think all championship level courses that are destination should incorporate their own shorts that is fun and unique. So yeah, we're on the same wavelength on that. I was just saying, like, I don't think people might. Oh my goodness,
You good? You
might
good?
travel to Johnny as much because, like, from out of state, because it's one layout, and I think that's kind of like
Yeah,
what's
I got you.
pigeonholing it is what I'm saying.
yeah, but I don't think that's the goal of Johnny, and
No,
I support
not at
that.
all. Yeah, no, yeah. I think maybe I'm misunderstanding what Sajko's saying, but
It's all good.
Mhm.
But us talking about this, I realized we don't have a lot of park courses over here in Connecticut, and that might even
Oh,
apply
really?
to a lot of New England. Like I went down to Florida.
yeah,
It's
we
the
don't.
majority of it is park courses, and I love that style. Probably
Yeah, it's
because we
awesome.
don't have that around here.
Hmm.
Yeah, here's is like a lot of wooded, a lot of like super private land. Um, but yeah, maybe that. I mean, that could be like part of a factor for at least this area.
Yeah, I feel like I always preach the accessibility of disc golf, which it is very accessible. You need one disc and courses are free, compared to a lot
Mhm.
of sports that is amazing. But I do think an inhibitor is like not everywhere is DFW or not everywhere is Connecticut. Like
Yeah.
there are places where there's just no disc golf for hours. And so if we can figure out a way to literally just have disc golf like if someone is within, 15 minutes of a course, regardless of where they live, I feel like the sport would be way bigger. I do feel like I saw a stat from this is a Funsie stat. I do think
Yeah.
I saw something from you disc a year or 2 years ago that was like 65% of people live within 15 minutes of a disc golf course or something
Huh.
crazy like that. Like it is very, very accessible, but like who knows? Those courses could be really hard courses,
Turds.
like we just talked about, or yeah, turds, like straight up garbage courses. So
Yeah.
the better we can make those courses, the more courses we can make, the more quality we can make. I think the easier it'll be for people to step into the sport. I kind
Totally.
of found the sport just by like seeing a basket and being interested in it, not necessarily anything else other than like I was bored one day. So remember there was a basket somewhere and was like, I'll try that out,
Respect.
and then stuck. Right.
Heck yeah. So I put in a couple points for like updates for you guys. I don't if you want to touch on those, but yeah, if you guys have any individual updates, hit them with it. The listeners are waiting.
Yeah, I don't got any.
He's got none. He has not a single one. Well, to be fair, I didn't know if you
I'm
wanted
just
to
kidding.
openly share this one
Yeah,
for
I'm just
whatever
kidding,
reason.
I'm just
I don't
kidding.
know.
Yeah, I got engaged 2 days ago to my girlfriend now, fiance. I am joining these two on the route to marriage, and that'll officially make Funsie the best podcast in the world. That was the only
Yeah,
thing
Funsie
I've been
renamed
missing.
Taken Podcast.
I've been missing from these guys is getting married. So,
Will
now
all of our
we'll
listeners
be
be
together.
invited?
Maybe I do a giveaway.
Giveaway for your wedding.
A giveaway to come to your wedding?
that's-
Here's the thing, my
That's-
wedding, I want my wedding to be like, a celebration. And I think I'm kind of taking my wedding to invite people that at least had an impact in my life or in my life now. Meaning like if it's someone like that was my like best friend before, but we don't really talk anymore. Like I still want them to come to at least celebrate because they're a huge part of my life. So my wedding's gonna be more like a lot of people and hopefully they come, but I'm definitely inviting a good amount of people as opposed to just only close family and friends. And why I'm saying that is because maybe I could squeak in a listener. I'm just kidding. Probably not.
So go comment on our Instagram if you want to come to Ben's wedding.
Yeah,
That'd
exactly.
be
The most
actually so
official way.
funny. I don't think it'd get approved though. So
Has to go through the old fiance first, huh?
the old
Yeah.
fiance. Look at
No, dude, people are gonna start hitting you with all the like marriageisms, just being like, "Does it feel different now? Do you feel different? Do you?" And you're like, "Just leave me alone."
just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Have you been
Yeah, but
married for
congrats,
over a
Ben.
year yet, Sajko? No, I don't think so.
Our September 23rd, that is our year anniversary. So we're gonna be up in
Sick.
Vermont the first week of October.
Yeah.
That's how we-
Shout out
celebrate.
Yarsak, Sajko's wife. She's our biggest fan. Always
Completely.
commenting.
Yeah.
So
She does
Yar
always
Sack.
listen. Yeah, well, shout out Yara.
Yo, Yarsak, I actually have some logo and stuff ideas for you. So
Oh, she'll love this. She'll be listening on her way to work tomorrow.
I
you
gotta
go.
remember what it was. Oh yeah, I do remember what it was.
Cool.
Anyways,
Sick. Well, good update. Thank you
Yeah,
for
really-
that, Ben.
Really,
That's huge.
No, we're happy
you're
for you.
welcome.
Yeah. My update is not as exciting, but if you're
It's hard to top
watching
that.
right now, I have a little J Millie hat on, and then t-shirt. Yeah,
That's
A
fire.
t-shirt.
I love your hat.
yeah. It says the t-shirt says Disc Golf Fiend. The hat just has the J Millie logo. In one sec, let me show you the back real quick.
Whew.
Is this kind of life is
J Millie
good
merch.
inspiration?
Oh yeah, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, all those things.
So what
Um,
does the bag mean? Is this like an experience you had, or is this just like something you just thought of that was funny?
I drew a cartoon of this like a while back, and I was like, I think this is funny.
You got to use it.
So,
Yeah, I love that.
Put it on the t-shirt for the listeners or even the viewers who didn't have time to see it. It's like a little stick figure with the J Millie logo on it, and he's standing in front of like a golf green holding a disc, and he says, I think I'm at the wrong place. So absolutely like rolling on the floor
Rollful.
laughing kind of joke. Just so funny. But yep, merch is coming out for J Millie August 1st. So if you want to snag some, go to my Insta, and I'm going to be posting about it then. Subtle plug.
No, dude, it's all good. I think
No,
it's
it's-
awesome. Man
it's
talked
not-
about it. We talked about it last week and just delete.
Yeah.
Yep. All gone. all gone.
People, we're getting better, but we're still a new podcast. There's still going to be issues, but fortunately, there hasn't been that many issues as like when our first few episodes. So
Yeah.
I mean, hey, they got an episode. It wasn't
yeah,
It
and
wasn't
what we had, it
I
was
was
what it
just
is.
reading the comments. They really liked the. I don't know if you read the comments, but a lot of people liked the episode of.
Yeah, I was happy that they did because I've never done a solo pod before, and it's not as easy as you would
Oh yeah, because
imagine.
it's
No, I'm
it's
sure it
tough. You're
was
just like
rough.
talking to yourself.
Well, the moments that your brain all of a sudden shuts off, and you're like, okay, that was the end of my thought. It's like you don't have
What's
co-host to bounce
next?
off of.
Yeah.
You just have to
Nope.
like keep driving. So I was
It-
really dependent on notes on that episode.
And
Eternal monologue.
literally me every day of my life. And real quick, shout out Hooligan Disc. They just released their 2-year Jamie, if you can bring it up, their 2-year anniversary color glow cash. Go purchase one. Use code Ben10 hooligan.disc.com. It's a beautiful disc. It's a super unique slot. I call it a slower, softer zone.
Yeah, it's a Zone SS.
less- Yeah, so there you go. I should start saying that. It's literally Zone SS, less fade,
Yeah.
but it doesn't go as far. So I've been really loving it. So go check it out.
I'm not sponsored by Hooligan, and I've been throwing it, and it's a fire disc. So yeah,
There you go.
go use code Josh11 at hooligandisc.com. I'm just kidding. But
I thought it was real
like,
now.
No, dude,
I would be
hilarious.
okay with it. I mean, anything to help Hooli. And yes,
One of my other
what Josh
updates
has is sick.
Is this is the Trash Panda Extraterrestrial. Hopefully you've seen it or heard about it. If you haven't, go watch my YouTube video. I posted a YouTube video about it. But Trash Panda came out with this thing. It's called the Extraterrestrial. If you know what Aerobi Epic, it's kind of like a baby Aerobi Epic for a listener or a viewer. One side of the rim is thinner than the other side. And it is a wild disc. So get excited. That's coming out soon. And next week, we will be having on Jesse from Trash Panda. So he's going to talk about it a little bit. So that's going to be hype. Look forward to it.
Dude, I can't wait.
Yeah,
Which
Jesse's
spot
the
do
man.
you hold that disc? Do you hold it on the smallest section or the widest? Like, what do you think about it? At all?
I like the thin side. And
Okay.
I think that, I mean, I talk about it a decent bit in my video, but sneak peek, I think that when you hold it on the thin side, since most of the weight is on the other side of the disc, you get more spin and more like power because of like centrifugal force or whatever.
There you
know,
go. Hit him with it.
to get nerdy.
Engineer.
But it's
Yeah.
really interesting. And yeah, there's some interesting things about this disc that I talk about in my video. So go watch it. I dare you.
Very exciting. I have not checked it out, but I did see the short that you put up this morning.
Oh yeah, did either of you guys watch it yet or no?
Yeah, I did.
The
Did you
short
like
or
it?
YouTube?
No,
full video.
the YouTube. Yeah, I did like it. I like that I could put a face behind Anderson.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness, knowing so much about him. And yeah, I thought it was a good video. I was expecting it to fly like an Epic, so
No, not
Yeah.
quite.
not quite at all.
Yeah.
So that's why I watched. That's
Spoiler.
actually one of the main reasons I watched the video. I was like, how does it fly with the different? But it's cool. It's unique, and that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I think that's kind of what the sport is. Like as Sajko said, this sales are dying down 100%. That's 100% true, and that's why we need more people in the sport to kind of keep this sales and the whole economics of disc golf to keep rising. It all starts with just getting more people in it, because there's only a certain amount of disc you can once you get to that level. And I think I'm at that level where I'm not really a collector, and I found the disc I really like, so I'm only buying this now.
Weird.
I'm saying every so often. Like I know the Star Destroyer will never leave my bag, so like that slot's filled, and if I lose one, all right, I just go to the one that I have kind of stocked up. And but if there's like I think there's a different market. I'm not really a collector, but I think a lot of people are, where it's just like a new thing that they didn't care. They just want to get the new thing. Like I think Discraft did a really, really good job with their Z Flex Jawbreaker blend, because
Oh yeah.
that's their new tier series, and that's the one that people are kind of like hyped about because
They always do a good job, though.
yeah, they but I'm just saying this year, especially with that plastic, I think because of the Jawbreaker Flex, it makes some discs a little more friendly, if that makes sense. But I think the main thing is just it looks beautiful. It's just like, and you can get so much different swirls, and every disc is super unique. So I think they're gonna ride that Jawbreaker Z Flex all this year, until they gotta find a new thing. Yeah, there you go. So I think it just looks incredible.
Yeah, it looks sick, and I think Discraft always does a good job. But I noticed, Ben, that you said the only reason you watched
You gotta talk in the mic.
wanted to see. Oh, sorry. I noticed, Ben, that the only reason you watched my video is because you wanted to see how the ET flies. You didn't watch my video because you wanted to see the Jay Millie video. What the heck is that?
So it was both. I mean, you're my co-host. I watch all your videos because of that, because you're my friend. But I was saying, like, this one, I had an ulterior motive, if that makes sense. Where it was like, okay, I get to watch Jay Millie, but I also get to see how this because it's so intriguing, and this is probably the plan, but he seemingly dropped it literally out of left field, and I'm guessing that was like kind of like the marketing plan.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah. So that's why I was like that's why it was so intriguing. It was like, bro, but this came out of nowhere. Like,
yep.
I knew something was in the works, but I didn't know it was like what it was, and to see it kind of be hopefully the resurgence, or what I thought was the resurgence of the epic after he left that cryptic thing of epic proportions or whatever. So I was like, so the hype was good. I was like, oh, what is this? This is crazy. And Jesse does a really good job at, like, he's so calculated at marketing too. So, and all that. So I think that helped it, and that's why I was like, okay, I gotta see how this flies, because he also shipped me one too. So shout out Jesse, I appreciate it.
Have you thrown it yet?
I have not. I think I got it. So I got engaged Sunday. I think I got it. So today's Monday. No, I got engaged Saturday. Sorry. And then Sunday I just literally had a bunch of stuff. Like, I went to shout out Steve Dodge.
Dude, I'm not calling you out for not throwing it. I'm just saying
not a good friend.
You should throw it.
No, I'm just saying, like, I only had Sunday to throw it, but that, like, I go to church, and then I went to Steve Dodge's game day, and then I just hung out with family. So, and then today,
gotta try it out for yourself.
Recording.
It's hype.
Big old recording day.
Cool. Well, I feel like we've been off topic the entire time so far.
But that's why I love this podcast. Off topic is our topic.
It definitely is. Yeah. So since we last talked, so Josh and I, in our conversation, he was like, dude, you got to get back into YouTube. And I was like, I know. Like,
yes, sir.
I've been sitting on an entire script that I wrote for my second video for months now. So then I did end up going out and recording it. So that's cool.
Me too. I recorded a video this weekend too.
Heck yeah. And then at the same time, I'm also out of, like, these are my first two videos recording, or rather editing YouTube for another round. So I have one coming out tomorrow.
Get added to your, like, job description?
I think, like, and it's very fluid, the jobs that I take on.
Yeah.
So it's like that, and then I'll do, like, YouTube shorts, and then he's like, hey, you want to try your hand at this? I think you could do a good job on it, but then you don't have to, like, do any uploads until this is done. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. So that should be going up, I think, tomorrow. And then I have another one for the following week. And yeah, it's been cool. So we'll see. You can judge my editing skills for YouTube.
I'm very interested to ask, did you edit the whole YouTube video on your phone?
For this one, I did, because it's a shorter video.
Oh, how long is it?
Wait, you don't edit on your laptop ever?
No, I do. It just depends. It depends how crazy I'm going for, like, the actual edits. Like, if I'm putting in all these assets and like animations and stuff, then yeah, I can't do it on my phone. But yeah,
Yeah.
for this one, another round's pretty basic. I'm like 90% of the way done right now. I'm pretty much just going through and like memeing, like, is like the best way I'll
Yeah.
say it. Just like putting like a
That's
couple
what I
jokes
do.
in it.
Yeah. That's what
So
I do at
that's
the very end. Like I kind of finish my video and then I go through and add just like silly stuff.
right. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
doing right now. And yeah, you guys can check it out.
On your
But
phone, a whole YouTube video.
yeah, on my
That is
phone, man.
crazy.
It is. So you guys can check that out after and let me know what you think, because it sounds pretty obvious, but editing for YouTube, you have all this extra space on the sides because I've grown up, we'll say, my editing skills being on a phone. So I have all the space on the sides that I'm like, how do I incorporate this? But like you can't get like super close. You can't. So that was kind of like an interesting challenge, but yeah, I think it came out
That's
good.
really funny. Good.
So yeah,
Alright.
I'm YouTube man at the moment.
Yeah, but you need to be YouTube man for yourself, not for another round, man. I don't want to watch another round video. I want to watch a Sajko video.
I know. The time will come. Like
Well,
I
I
said, it's
think-
recorded. I just have to
I
edit my own
think-
stuff now.
I think YouTube's just so hard. It's not hard, but editing for YouTube videos is just, like I keep saying, it's just a different beast. It's just a different beast. It's just a different beast. It's
Are
just-
just,
you
I
the
think I'm
different beast
understanding it
and the
now.
same animal?
what?
Oh,
Are you
well,
a different beast and the same animal?
I don't know what that means.
Have you seen that
means. Yeah, me either.
Kobe Bryant,
Oh yeah.
Kanye
What are you
commercial?
talking about, Kobe Bryant?
Yeah. Sorry. Sajko, say your actual thing after I made my joke. That no one understood.
Let me see if I can actually remember what I was trying to say. If I'm being
No.
honest. Man, where was I going with that? Bro, I'm absolutely
I feel like this
derailed right
happens a
now.
lot
The
to
nerve.
Sajko, where we interrupt him and he's just like,
Yeah,
My
dude,
bad.
I was going down the rabbit hole. No,
Yeah.
it's all good. But yeah, just oh, I remembered. So with another round, found out I'm not a big like analytics guy. I like look at views and stuff just to get some sort of feedback on the stuff that I put up. Found out in terms of another round, the stuff that I upload and the stuff that Joseph uploads are opposite in the way that they gain views. So the stuff that he puts out really heavily caters to their own audience, and they get a lot of interaction, like we'll say like 70-ish% interaction from their own
followers.
audience. Yeah, their own followers. Whereas like the stuff that I put out, generally, it appeals more so to non-followers. So it'll be like completely flip-flopped.
That
And,
makes
like,
a lot
only-
of sense. I'm not surprised by that.
Isn't that interesting though?
Yeah. It's
makes
really
sense.
interesting, but it totally tracks. Totally tracks.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Kind of cool.
It is
I
cool.
think yours is just constantly moving. Like Joseph's like, here's a disc.
I'm
for
going
the
to ace
disc.
with it.
And
Both are
yours,
important.
yours is constantly like, yeah, no, I'm not knocking on Joseph at all. I mean,
No, dude, I think you are. Dude.
I'm just saying that this probably, and then yours is like constantly moving, attention grabbing, which is what you need for newer people watching your reels. I mean, that's why, yeah, that's. Sorry, I was gonna say something that I forgot. I can't say. That's why I'm like,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, that's why like people, newer people that maybe aren't in disc golf or kind of interested in disc golf. Yours is just so fast moving that it keeps them encapsulated, and I think that's why. Whereas like the Joseph ones, it's just like, yeah, people who are actually into disc golf, it's like, yeah. This
Well,
is disc
I
golf,
honestly think
what I love.
that your videos are more valuable than his videos probably are. Like he still has to keep posting and engaging the current
Right.
audience, but to bring new people, new eyes to another round, I'm sure is what he wants. And if you're doing that with all of your videos, like you are accomplishing that. So,
Yeah.
maybe you should be in line for a pay upgrade soon, because I think you're accomplishing exactly what he probably
Let's
wants.
go.
With the heat coming with the
You
heat.
heard it. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose
That's
it
for a
depends
raise.
what you're viewing as. I think you used the word that like value. So yeah, whatever you view as like being valuable. So yeah, of course, bringing in new people is valuable, but you also need to
you
keep
for
the
sure
people
have
around
to,
that.
yeah. But I'm sure Joseph will always do that. Like it's so simple for him.
Yeah, completely, dude. I think I was going through the icebreakers, and I think I'm just gonna re-ask the one that I asked last week because A, people didn't hear your answers, Josh, and maybe you came up with some different ones, and B, Ben is here now, so could be cool. What is that?
I have my new one. I actually thought of it
Dude.
yesterday. Yeah.
All right, so you ask the question and have Jamie Lee go, so I can think about what my answer is.
So the question was, what is something that you are a snob about in disc golf, or you used to be a snob about in disc golf?
So, the one I thought of yesterday, and I think this is my biggest snobbery, I don't play 9-hole courses. Like, I just
Dude, I know
like
exactly what you mean.
I go on UDisc, and if I see it has the little disc golf basket versus
Not
the
worth
big
my time.
disc, it's not worth it for me. I only play 18-hole courses. Well, okay, I say that. I'll play a 9-hole course occasionally, but when I do it, I'm just like, ugh. Like, even if it's a fire course, if it's not 18 holes, it just doesn't feel the same. Like, I'm not getting my disc golf fix. Like,
Dude.
I'm such a snob about that. I've been a snob about it for a long time. I've had multiple people be like, oh, like the other day, my friend Anderson, which we've talked about a little bit in this episode and in my YouTube videos, he was like, oh, there's this, do you want to come play Hawk's Nest with me? And I was like, what the heck is Hawk's Nest? It's a 9-hole course that's like 15 minutes from me, but I had no clue because I just don't play 9-hole courses. Like, it's probably one of the closest courses to me, but I had no clue that it was even there because I only play 18-hole courses.
I could
so
not
that's
relate.
my biggest snobbery.
I could not relate more to an answer because same deal. And then like I look at I've been to some of the 9-hole courses, and then some of them are amazing. But I think that might be something that applies to disc golf in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think so? I feel like just most people are like, no, not worth my time, not doing that. I'm here. Like, I'm gonna go 18.
Like, well, so I used to play 9-hole courses, like when I first got into it, and like that was my bread and butter most of the time. But then I feel like it's the same thing. Like, beginners love 9-hole courses. If you are experienced, you just want to play a full 18. You want to play like an entire disc golf course. So it's definitely has its place, but it's just I'm a snob about it now. So I'd agree with you for sure.
Yeah. Benny.
No, you gotta go Sajko. This is way too. I feel like a lot of with these questions, sometimes I like make up things. Not make up, but like I kind of get try and get a far reach of like what I actually think.
Like trying
of.
too hard to come up with an answer.
Yeah, because like I remember when you asked, what is the thing like? You asked a similar question before, and I was like, that you don't no longer seek, and I was like, validation. And then towards the end, I was like, okay, maybe that wasn't actually the answer. So I really want to start thinking about these questions. Not lying. I'm not lying. I'm just saying things that maybe aren't as kind of like important. I don't know. As I don't know. I'm just trying. What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to think of an actual answer as opposed to like. Let's come up with one. This one I'm kind of. Anyways, sorry. That was a weird tangent. I'm just trying to think of an answer.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but last week I ended up reiterating the icebreaker, and I gave my answers on there. Yeah, listeners heard those.
What? Sajko, do you remember my other answers? I don't remember mine.
I think somewhat. You used to be. You loved Discraft a lot, and if anyone else
yeah,
you were like, ew, dude, what is that?
Yeah, so
have some self-respect.
Yeah, I'm not that way anymore. I still love Discraft, but when I first got into the sport, Paul Macbeth fanboy, still Paul Macbeth fanboy, always loved Paul Macbeth. But I just remember, like, essentially, my first disc was the Buzz, and I putted with a Warden. And I just remember thinking Discraft was so elite. And so I would only throw Discraft, only buy Discraft. And if I saw someone throwing like freaking dynamic discs or Latitude 64, I'd be like, ugh, disgusting, broke. Not actually, but like that was just the feelings that I had. I was such a Discraft fanatic, but not as much anymore.
Yeah, dude, I feel like a big snobbery for a lot of people is hand feel of discs. Like that might be like one of the most polarizing things where people are like, ew, dude, whether it's plastic or the shape of a rim, they're always like I'm not very like tactile, like in terms of like I feel something and I'm just like, cool, I'll throw it. Like I don't really care too much about how it feels to like a certain degree. Are you guys like super about I don't know, like weird hand feel of discs? You're like, I'm not throwing that.
I've never really had an issue with it. I kind of just most of the plastic feels very similar to me.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest, I will say I tried some Lone Star stuff at one point, and I did not like how their plastic felt.
Mm,
But
yeah.
that might have just partially been like I already had associated bad feelings with Lone Star.
Could be.
Not to call out anyone, but
no. But even dude, a big one is like the Passion, like Discraft Passion. People are always that's like a polarizing disc. People are like, oh,
I
it
do
feels
not like the
terrible.
Passion.
Like because of the feel or because of the like you got burned
Sorry,
by
I
it?
thought you were talking about the plastic. Are you not talking about the plastic?
ESP?
No, just like the feel of the rim, like the
Yep.
rim of a
Yep.
disc.
I hate it.
Okay, well, there
I
you go.
hate
There's
the
yeah,
Passion.
the mold, the actual mold.
Yeah.
I hate the PD as well. I hate the PD and I hate the Passion.
Okay.
I think
I have
they
both
have
of those in
very
my
weird
bag.
rims.
I have a PD.
We're fighting now.
I think I just
It just
I
feels
don't
weird
really
in the
care
hand for
too
me.
much about hand feel personally. I think if the flight's there, that's really what I care about.
Yeah,
But
kind of same deal. Unless the plastic is insanely
yeah, unless it's like
slippery.
actually noticeable, where like this is not like yeah, I've never picked up a disc that I threw and be like, oh, this hand feels off. I don't know.
Ben, do
So-
you okay?
Jay
We have
Millie, you go.
three lanes
You
we
go.
can take here. Go
You
for it.
go. No, you.
I was
do.
gonna say so I actually used to bag the Passion because
Mhm.
I liked the flight a lot. But
What'd you
just got
find
to a
in
point,
place?
FD. I throw the FD
I
now.
knew it. I knew
Yeah.
it.
I think I'd really like the Cicada as well.
Oh yeah.
But the like little bump on the bottom of the rim, I think it's beaded. Is it beaded?
Yeah.
Or like something like that. I just hate it. Like on a
has a-
backhand, on a forehand, it just felt weird to me. I felt uncomfortable trying to throw it. Like I think that's a really important thing in disc golf. That
Yeah, once
I
it gets
think
in your head,
people-
it's over.
yeah. And so like I just can't really throw a beaded driver. So I think all of my discs are non-beaded.
Well, another thing that we're gonna get into that sometimes gets in my head and maybe gets in other people's head, and it's kind of like the big talking point are flight numbers of discs.
Classic.
Ben, do you have an answer or
Yeah, no.
you like to-
I like I said, I'm trying to come up with a genuine answer as opposed to like doing a far reach of something I don't really think as
Hey,
much. But I
dude,
can't
it's
think
fine.
I can't I literally can't think of. I'm sure there's something, but I can't think of something I'm snobby about where I'm like, bro, like what the frick?
I mean, snobby's a loose term. I assume you're not like, ew, that's disgusting.
Yeah, no. I don't know. Maybe like this is like one like a far reach answer, but maybe because I obsess about form so much that like people could see me as being snobby because I care about it a lot, but I don't ever like. I'm not the guy that's like, your form sucks. Look at me. I have elite form. I just care about my form, and if people want opinions on it, I'll give it to them. But like everyone has their own kind of thing and journey, and it's just like I'm not really like I can see what people are struggling with, but like I'm not gonna unless like
yeah.
unless it's
Unsolicited opinion.
yeah, unless it's like Sajko. Like I know I've like helped you out like once or twice. But I think it was, we're close friends, and I think it just came up. But like yeah, if it was like someone like if I first met Jay Millie, I would never be like actually. So yeah, maybe that's like the closest thing I can think about is like loosely like maybe not really snobby, but just something I care about a lot that some people or most people don't really care about as much as I
Yeah.
do. There you go.
Get good. You're not even trying, kid. These are what you're supposed to do.
No.
I know. That's just like the most snobby variety of that answer. I know that's not how you mean it.
No, yeah,
But-
exactly. I don't ever look at someone throwing and be like, like obviously I like you can just tell when someone throws in their form, like kind of like whether it's oh boy or like this guy's good, but I'm never like this guy's gonna
Roasting.
change this,
Yeah.
this, or else he'll never be good.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I think that's a good answer. Boys, flight numbers. What pops into your guys' head when you hear flight numbers?
Trespass and destroyer.
Yeah, yeah. Another good answers. So I'm sure you guys have had it where you've thrown a disc. You were like, you think it's gonna fly one way, and it just doesn't do that. Ben, you said trespass. I was gonna ask like, what are the biggest flight number lies that you've experienced? So trespass. Josh, do you have one?
Yeah, trespass.
Yeah, all of West Side.
All of West Side.
Well, I think that's
Yeah.
latitude and like the king. Like I threw the
Like
king or
trilogy.
queen once, and it makes no sense. I think their
Oh, big
adder's
flip
pretty
dog.
accurate. But yeah, the king or queen, I forget. It's like a 13, like -1.
Oh, dude, it's
I
a
don't even know.
14 speed.
Yeah, and it just flips like no. But I think that's a lot with trilogy. I don't know how though. Like, why? Do you think it's because? Do you think it's because they're just naming the flight wrong, or that their plastic, for some reason or the other, is just more and more understable blend? I don't know.
Could be, but yeah, well, I have like a bunch of different things that we can discuss regarding
Yeah,
that.
let's go through
My
it.
answer. So yeah, I know like trilogy's the big one that people talk about. Mine is actually the Excalibur. Have you guys thrown a Innova Excalibur?
Yeah,
before?
it is not that overstable.
It's just it's just a destroyer. You're like, what is
I mean,
this?
honestly, less stable than a destroyer in my opinion.
In my experience, I think the Excalibur Super. Okay.
Okay,
I
right
was
there.
an,
We
I
have
was
all these different answers.
I will say this was like when I first started. It was maybe 6 months, like buying every disc, trying it out. I see Nate Sexton throws an Excalibur, so I'd have to retry. So I retract that statement. But when I first was starting, everything was overstable, so I'd have to try it again full force.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Discraft Flick. Have you guys thrown the Flick?
Oh yeah, that thing. What are you
Uh,
gonna say?
It's like it flips for me.
No way. That
flips?
thing's actually really overstable.
Yeah, that thing's
one's
disgusting,
actually like
dude.
a beefcake.
Do you have one from
So
1997?
I bought this Flick
Maybe a newer one. Yeah, it looks like a new
a
one.
month ago, and I was like, amazing. I finally have my forehand flex disc. I throw it on a forehand flex, it rolls. I'm
Maybe
like,
it's the
what
newer one
is
because
going
the old
on?
ones are
Yeah.
like cakes.
Yeah,
of
they're
beef.
ridiculous.
Well, I just can't believe that's called 12-3 plus 1 5, and I rolled it.
Well, that was always
what
like
is happening?
that was
You're
always the
rolling your
joking
wrist,
disc.
brother. Get better form.
Yeah, exactly. You're
I
trash,
guess
kid.
so, man.
You're trash. Yeah. So, what do you guys think makes flight numbers flawed? So I say that because I know people in my life that obsess over flight numbers, and maybe just kind of like a beginner thing because it gives you the best idea of what to work off of.
They do
But then-
help. I'm pro flight.
They
numbers.
do. No, I'm not saying that they're wrong, but I'm saying that they are flawed. Or I'm not saying they're bad.
Yes.
I'm saying they're flawed because
Yeah.
sure, you have flight numbers, but they apply to everyone has like a different arm speed. There are different plastics. There are like different weights, different runs. I mean, there's so many aspects that when you're starting out, you're like, what do I don't even know what to grab right now. I remember the first
Yeah.
time I went to go grab a Wraith, I was like, yeah, I'll step up to a Wraith. It was a 129 gram DX Wraith.
Ugh.
Thing was a paper plate, and I was like,
yeah.
I thought this was supposed to be like a overstable
Beefcake.
driver or something like that. So I don't really
Yeah.
know where I'm trying to go with that, honestly. But I mean,
Well, I feel like it's a good context. So, when I first started playing disc golf, I tried to figure out how, like, everyone tries to understand how a disc will fly. Like, flight
Mhm.
numbers are inherently confusing. But when I learned it, and then I got discs and I tried to throw them, and they didn't do what I thought they would do, I was so confused because I was under the impression that flight numbers was just like a standardized thing. It takes
Mhm.
forever for you to actually figure out that it is not controlled. It is arbitrary numbers, like from
That
the
you make up,
company
yeah.
that they put on themselves. granted, I share the same belief that you guys share. Like flight numbers are good. Like they generally help because it gives you some kind of understanding of what maybe the disc should do. But I don't like that. Like I believe for Innova, the Dave guy just he gives all the flight numbers. He throws it and gives the flight numbers. I believe that's how it's done.
Oh,
And
really?
then yeah, and then I think for like some other manufacturers, I think it's a similar thing. Like I don't think it's like by committee. I think it's one or two people are the people giving it flight numbers, you know?
Well, right.
Like maybe
Yeah.
with Discraft now, like Paul is the one giving it flight numbers. But like the Luna is not a 4303. It is a 4301 or a 43 -11, but it's a
Hmm.
4303 for some reason. And so it's like I think that there should be some like the I mean, we can get into it right now. The robot that we make machines made for your YouTube video that throws the discs. Like
Hmm.
that seems like a very simple way to standardize how a disc will fly. And they can even do like different arm speeds and then just like throw it 100 times and see what the flight pattern is and give it that flight pattern, you know, and associate actual numbers with it for every new release of disc. And I feel like that would be a simple way to do it. So
Yeah. I think because discs have been being made for so long at this point, like a perfect example is the Rock, like an Innova Rock. It says to be overstable, and it kind of is to a certain degree, but I think that's based on the technology that they had at the time. So maybe back then, compared to, the Arrow or something, they're like, dude, this thing's a beefcake. And trying to apply that to now, it doesn't really, you'd be like, oh, this is like a torque resistant, like sidearm disc. And it's not that.
The
And I think
Arrow
something,
from Epic or
the Rock, talking about the Rock, because the Rock has
oh
overstable flight numbers. I believe it's like
no, yeah, the Rock. I thought you
4403.
said compared to the Arrow. I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about the
comparing it to the Arrow, I'm saying
I'm
like
saying
back in the
the
day,
Arobi Arrow.
the Arobi Arrow. No, the like first Innova mold,
no,
Oh,
there's
okay.
a
I didn't know that.
AERO.
AERO.
Oh, okay. I
Not
didn't know about AERO.
Okay,
Okay,
W.
okay.
no,
I
Yeah.
do
I
know
see the
that
confusion now.
arrow. I thought you were
No, I
talking
see
about
the
the
Yeah.
confusion now.
Arobi arrow. I was like, that's such a
Yeah.
niche reference.
But like those, they haven't altered those flight numbers. They've just existed, and even into
Yeah.
like the modern era where you throw it, and it is like straight to overstable, but it's not. You would think that would be like a zone or something based on those flight numbers. So I think another big bias that we have is when we see certain flight numbers as disc golfers, we it like makes us think of a specific flight, whether or not that flight is true to us. Does that make sense? So it's like a 7502. Like what flight numbers tell you that that disc is supposed to fly like usually doesn't. I mean, that usually flies like a straight fairway driver.
Straight to yeah, and then light fade at the yeah. You're right.
T-Bird,
Yeah,
Right,
T-Bird.
but
I think we all think
FD,
of Innova. I think that'd
Athena.
be at least me. Every flight number I see, I compare to an Innova disc, but I don't know if anyone else does.
no,
I do
I'm
Discraft.
kind of the same way.
Okay, so it's kind of like the
Innova boy
brand
from
you
way
throw
back.
the most,
Probably, yeah,
which
just like
makes
starting out.
sense. Which makes way more sense.
But yeah, like you'll see like so a company will come out with their 12.5 minus 1.3, and even if it doesn't, if they know that it's not going to be exactly like a destroyer, I'm sure they will put those flight numbers knowing that people will be like, okay, well, like this is their version of a destroyer, so they're probably like more likely to grab that.
Well, it's
um
like Garrett talking about the Yeet, which is their 12.5 -1.3 disc,
mhm.
and being like, that is, they Hooligan built their brand on that, and he wants to do the new run of it, but he wants it to be perfect because
Mm-hmm.
that's essentially where people will gather their opinion about
Totally.
the brand based off of that. Like the DD3 is the Discmania 12.5 -1.3. A Force is kind of like what people associate for
Yeah,
Discraft,
kind
even
of.
though it's
Now it's like the Zeus.
12.503. Yeah, but no one really cares about the
How
Zeus.
I don't understand how people can't replicate. Okay, I do understand, but no one can replicate the Destroyer. No one can replicate the Zone. I find that so intriguing that because the dimensions to the T are like available on the PGA
Yeah,
website.
yeah.
So like I don't understand like I know that was one of Lone Star's biggest struggles is they were trying to create
The
a
horny toad.
zone. Yeah, so they before the horny toad, they were trying to create a zone, and everyone was like, "The harpoon is just not the zone," and they kept trying. Then they
It's not
tried
even
like the
close.
bull snake, and then they tried the horny toad. Um, and it perplexes me that it has to. The simple answer has to be the plastic that is so makes it such a variable.
Yeah.
Because you can literally,
Well,
I don't think it's legal to copy the exact like like to the T the mold. I don't think it is, but maybe it is.
I'm not entirely sure about this, but like when Drew made finish line discs, the Supra was supposed to be like his buzz. Like, Drew loves to throw buzzes,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the Supra was supposed to be a buzz. And from what I heard just around the rumor mill is that to make the Supra, he cut a buzz in half and then just took the dimensions and tried to
Yeah.
design it. But then when they released it, it was like super flippy. And it's 100% because how the disc finishes is not actually how it's designed. It's based off of the cooling and everything. So like you cut a buzz, take those dimensions and plop it into CAD and then make that disc. That disc is not going to cool and finish in those final properties. So like
Mm.
the properties that a disc has is not how the actual mold is. And so that's why people can't necessarily fully replicate because you're essentially guessing how your plastic will cool and hopefully finished right next to where that disc is. That's why
Yeah.
if you look at some of these like China companies, like Timu releasing their X UFO discs,
Mm-hmm.
or some of those other companies that are from China, what they do is cut those discs, put them into CAD, and send them off for production because they're like, oh, this Star Destroyer is liked, Buzz is liked, all these things are liked, and then they come out and you try to throw them and they're just so flippy, or like they're not the same because they finish and cool differently, and it's a completely different disc after the
Right.
fact.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about like biases and flight numbers that like different companies will emulate for themselves because they know that people look for those flight numbers. But then you have a company like MVP Discs where they for the longest time were trying to avoid typical flight numbers. And it was like not
Mm,
until, like the Simon like distance driver where they're like, okay, this will finally be like our stock
time
12.5
lapse.
minus 1.3. Yeah, the time lapse.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like they always were, they love the
Yeah,
point
like
fives and
14
stuff like
negative
that.
point. Yeah, 5.
Yeah, yeah. So it is interesting. Should we talk
I
about
I got I gotta have one more just like brief tangent before.
Okay.
Are you moving on
Do it.
from flight
No, I
numbers?
wasn't moving on. I'm gonna
Okay.
pop open a sparkling water right now though.
Okay. So I just have
Crisp.
one brief. So,
Mhm.
and this is kind of random, but I was thinking about this earlier in the podcast too. Clash discs.
Okay.
I think, like, I met the owners, I met the guys. Their plastic is like
Subtle
one of the
flex.
one of the best. Um,
It is nice.
they all have their own original molds. Like they all make their own molds, not share like
Mhm.
in house. And the guys over there are geniuses. It's not like kind of like what we see like the first companies trying to make it to the market, and the discs are kind of not exactly good. Like the discs are like the how the disc is made and feels and like is good. I'm curious as to why, well, like what separates Clash from these big guys? What is it, just time? Because I feel like they are the one company that, in my opinion, that is new, that can, I don't know the word for it, but is up to snuff is what I'm trying, up to snuff with like these like mega companies with their plastic and how they create their own molds. So I'm putting that question out to you guys because I'm confused how Clash just isn't more used because their plastic is actually like great and molds.
Well, I think it. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Uh, I was gonna say like you're asking why they're not being used as much by like a wide population.
Yeah, and it might just be time, but I'm just curious. I was just
Yeah.
curious as to your guys' opinion on Clash, just in general. Like, Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people are just kind of set in their ways. Like they have molds, like you're saying, like a lot of people have discs already, aside from like beginners, and they're kind of set in their ways. And I think you have to be proven over and over again, before you like have a good relationship with a brand. And then until then, you will get that, but yeah, it's just time, like you said.
You go, J Million, and I have a hypothesis as well.
Yeah, my opinion is time and market for sure. But when it comes to, like, I'm sure you know these people. Like, I know so many people who only throw one brand of disc, but aren't sponsored or on an underground team or whatever.
Wild.
Like people just pick a brand and stick with it. So like getting someone like that to try Clash discs, it's not going to happen. And then my second opinion is they're making amazing discs, but all their discs are just it's the same stuff as like
Mhm.
A major manufacturer. So like why would I buy Clash over Discraft, who I already trust?
Because you like
So I
food.
think yeah, there we go. So I think that what they're doing with trying double steady or the ring plastic or tone technology is really smart because they're getting people to like
Interested.
like interested in Clash, and then hopefully bringing them in and taking some of that market share from Discraft or Innova or Discmania. And so like I think it all boils down to time and market, but like so many people are entrenched in their ways. Like if they had a major pro, that would be ideal because that's how people become entrenched in their ways. Like there are a lot of factors, but yeah, I think the longer they stay, the better they'll get. And I
Yeah.
think that's just what it
So that's
boils
where
down to.
that's where I was going with. I think if they, because right now they're open bag. If they force a major pro to only throw their discs, I think that's kind of a big thing that's separating them. Other than time, time's the biggest variable. That's separating them from really growing. Like if they sign like Gannon Burr hypothetically when in this offseason and they said only throw a Clash, I think their kind of gross revenue is like 100% up from last year. Um, I think that's because we saw with Simon. I mean, he moved
Yeah,
to
it's kind of what
MVP,
MVP did.
and
Yeah.
then it's just like they made his salary and then some. I'm pretty sure. I like after like they basically signed him to a big. I don't know the exact contract, but you can imagine if it's 10 years, it's probably a lot of money, and I could imagine they like weren't expecting to already make such good ground on
Reap.
kind of making
Yeah.
that money, and I wouldn't be surprised if they already made what they're eventually going to pay him already because just
I
how
mean, that's
much
why they signed Eagle.
volume, yeah, how much volume
Yeah.
they were selling. I mean, I always say this, but Infinite Discs, it was like the glitch was in their top 20 sell list. After they signed Simon, there was like 5 to 6 MVP discs in their top 10, like immediately.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what is separating Clash is I think they need to get more molds out so they can just say like, hey, you're only throwing Clash. And I think that just comes with time. But I don't know. Just keep an eye out for Clash. The guys, they came to my expo, Northeast Disc Golf Expo last year, all the way from Finland. So like, and I don't know. I always have respect for them because they found out about it like maybe a month or two before that, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do it." And they flew from Finland just for the expo. So I don't know. Keep an eye. Sajko, back to you.
Yeah, they were nice guys. I got to meet them as well. Is there a company, having said all this, that you think has accurate flight numbers compared to other companies? Is there anyone that comes to your mind?
Innova. I think we are. I already made that point. For me,
Well, is that
at least.
is that because that's what you started with, or because you think it's the most accurate?
I think it's the most accurate. I think the Destroyer is probably the most accurate flight, and I think same with like the T-Bird 3. Those two are like pretty dead on, where it's like you don't throw it in it and you're like, what the heck? And I know the Destroyers have different molds and all that, but to me, a Destroyer will always if I throw it, it'll always flip up and then come back to me.
I feel like Innova's tough though because they created those molds, so it's almost like they established what those flights are supposed to be like.
Well,
Does
yeah,
that make sense?
they're also one of the they literally, it was like back in the day, it was only Discraft, DGA, and Innova, and maybe some. I think there's another obscure that's no longer, like maybe it's like Lightning Disc or AB or something like that. But yeah, so Discraft and Innova and all them basically invented the flight numbers.
Yeah. I think Clash does a really good job with flight numbers overall. I know their tone stuff makes stuff more understable. So, I mean, maybe that's like
So is that every single tone? Because I know it was the salt, because they just used the flippier salts that they had
okay.
before. So
Oh, could be.
yeah,
That's just what I heard.
Okay, yeah, that's what I know. They came out. I was just asking. I didn't know if you threw like the tone popcorn or something and noticed any difference.
No, I did not. But yeah,
So-
those always seem pretty accurate.
Yeah, so my opinion is I don't know. I don't think anyone does it very well, honestly. Like I don't think Innova does it well. The AVR X3 is very inaccurate. The Excalibur, the Toro, I don't think the Toro is very overstable at all. Like I think every company has 3 or 4 discs that are just not flight numbered properly.
I'm sure, yeah.
I guess I mean I'm biased about this, but I think Trash Panda has done a pretty good job with the 3 discs that they have. Like a very accurate.
They
flight
do it
number.
through science.
Yeah. So like I think crowdsourcing, science, all those things are very good ways before a robot is standardized to do it to find flight numbers. So yeah, I guess my answer is Trash Panda.
So
but they
yeah,
only have 3 discs. That's not
let me
that
go
hard.
back on. Let me go back on what I said. Good point, Jay Mealy, because I agree. I only talked about the Destroyer and the T-Bird. I probably should have said that. Like, yeah, Innova has some that don't even make sense at all. So I think that's a good point. I think every single company has their disc that's exactly to the flight numbers that other companies don't have. And for me, I think Innova, I think it's because the Destroyer and T-Bird are like the disc everyone like tries out, and it's like a staple in a lot of people's bags. I think that's why I was saying. But yeah, I do retract that statement that it's completely Innova. I think they have some that are good, and some obviously that are just, it's so tough. It's not standardized. That's why it's just like you have to pick different discs from each company to like the Zone. Like I would pick the Zone as being accurate. I'd pick Destroyer as being accurate.
Buzz.
Yeah, but I'd pick those. So you'd have to go company to company, and I think we'd have to make that. Maybe that's something we do in the future, just like making each slot what you think the disc has the exact flight numbers.
That'd be fun.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. That would be a good time. Do you guys think there's any benefit to regulating it, or just not really worry about it because it doesn't, all that really matters is throwing the disc and seeing how it flies for you?
I think there's a benefit.
I think it should be regulated. I think it'd add a lot of validity to our sport, because I do feel like a lot of people look down on our sport just because it, I mean, honestly, isn't super professional.
No.
And how it's handled, who plays it, all that. So if we can start adding, honestly, checks and balances, the more we can have, the more people will respect disc golf. I mean, that's my opinion. Granted, in tournaments, I don't want to dress professionally. I want to dress as casually as I can, but that's just because that's what I want to do. I do think probably more professional dress in tournaments would be ideal, but I don't want to.
Man, yellow pants need to be out each day.
Mustard.
No,
Colonel Mustard.
yellow pants have to stay.
Yeah, I think that's there's like a couple other points, but I think we pretty much covered everything regarding flight numbers. Should we go with the tournament right now? Yeah, should we go with the tournament?
Yeah,
or should we go
for
with I had like another talking point.
Let's go with the tournament, because we're at 1:15. I mean, I don't know. We're still figuring out what our timeline wanted to be. At first it was like an hour, now it's like an hour 30. So it's up to you guys. We could, if you want.
You just got like randomly loud. Did that happen for you too, Sajko?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, you got like really loud for some reason. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Well, sorry.
Nothing
Yeah,
changed on
I'm
my
down
end.
for whatever.
Yeah, let's talk about. Let's talk about the tournament and see where we're at from there.
Yeah. Dude, this weekend, European Disc Golf Festival, as we alluded to earlier, these guys are playing many, many years in the future in Estonia for disc golf. Like, sure, flight numbers make things not as professional, just like one of like the few things that we talk about. Estonia is trying to make it as professional as possible, and it's super cool.
That was so hype.
I saw like some behind the scenes where when players showed up, they had to like go into a room to be recorded because they had like an entire screen that viewers would be able to see, like audience members that would intro the player as they came out. So like, you know, at like a major sport, they do that, and then to be able to see that in disc golf on like a giant screen, so hype, like right before the tee off on the first hole. Super cool. So the course,
Super cool.
I mean, no problems with that.
Yeah, I think just to go further on the course, I think a lot
You're
of
really loud
pros.
again.
Yeah, you're super loud.
So I maybe on your end, but I don't think the listeners are going to notice.
It just went down again. That's so weird.
Yeah, it's back to normal.
Okay, so
Sorry, listeners.
Yeah, sorry.
Unless I was completely wrong and you did hear that spike, but for the course, I saw a lot of, like you were saying, this is where disc golf's going. I saw a lot of pros really just like hype it up, be like, this is like incredible. This is where I want to see. And I think hole 1 teeing off the amphitheater and then hole 18 teeing back, and you can kind of see these like the crowd, and like hopefully one day it'll be filled, because that amphitheater probably fits like 5,000 people itself, but hopefully one day we can see it filled. But I think that in itself, it had the essence that disc golf was a professional sport, if that makes sense, like where the players have their own kind of walkway to walk through, and then they come out and then they get announced and tee off. It was just super surreal and very cool to see, and I think that's what, like you said, it's gonna start going towards. It's just we need more newer courses being built with that in mind. If they want to be championship, of course. Like obviously we don't need these courses just for no reason, but I think these courses that want more bids for the Elite Series and stuff like that, they're going to have to really step up their game. But it's tough. You know, you're going to need a guy probably that's like, you know, like Eagles Crossing, very rich and can kind of just do whatever.
Yeah, so I ended up being able to watch the first round of MPO because FPO is insanely difficult to watch with them being over in Europe. And watching Ricky blast a 16 down on what is not exactly like a soft course. Did you guys see some of the holes there? Sure, there was like hole 1, hole 18, and everyone was also posting that super low ceiling tunnel shot hole.
Mm-hmm. Or even like the super tight one.
Coverage.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
He
Jay Millie, you did? No,
I watched. I turned it on when I saw he was shredding like that, so I watched some of his 16 down round. It was insane.
Absolutely,
Lights
exactly. Insane is the only word. 11, 19? Yeah.
Yep.
That
insane.
Doesn't even sound like a rating at that point. It just sounds like a high number.
If I shot 10, 19, 100 points less than that, I would poop my pants. I can't like just that just puts it in perspective.
Yeah,
you know?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was thinking too. Like 100 points less is still for them it's average, but it's still for us like an insane. It's unfathomable what he just did.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: Ricky takes down MPO, and
it was tight.
It was. Paul Macbeth, I believe it was last hole. P McB was just like he had a putt to what was it, to tie it up? Was that it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, to tie it up, but I missed that mofo.
Well, so it wasn't to tie. Well, yeah, okay, yes, it was to tie. It was to tie Ricky, but Ricky also had, I think it was probably in the circle, or maybe a little out to beat him. So it wouldn't have tied unless Ricky, they were tied up at that point, but unless Ricky missed that putt, then that's when it would have gone to a playoff. So Ricky, even if Paul made that, Ricky still had a decent chance to take it down, just with a little more pressure.
Yeah, completely.
Sure.
Rick really is Mr. European right now. And
I keep picking him to win.
It is somewhat bitter that he missed out on the European Open for multiple reasons. Obviously, getting a major since 2017 and just continuing that streak. But it's just fun to watch because I'm sure as many listeners know, as you guys know, man was struggling like 2 years ago with like all of his issues with like inflammation from Lyme disease and stuff. So to see someone deal with that and then just like come back and be like, oh yeah, I'm here, just like doing his thing. It's just fun. Yeah, it's really easy.
Was it this year he took events off at first because of it? Maybe
No,
it wasn't
it was
this
last
year.
year.
Okay, yeah, where he like didn't come back until like almost mid-season.
Yeah, that was, he won only the Preserve and then at Nevin, I think last year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, really good tournament. After round one for FPO, it was Heidi Line.
Oh, dude,
I think she was like
that would've
9
been
down or
sick if she
something.
won.
Yeah, it would have been hype. It's really cool.
Yeah,
She
the FPO field needs a European player to dominate, and they just are lacking. No, I'm just kidding.
Mhm. Yeah, completely. And then last round, who could have seen this coming? Missy Gannon, she steps up her game, and then
Oh my
Evelina
goodness.
just fights back and birdies like 6 or 7 holes to go into a playoff. Both Evelina and Missy Gannon teed off on hole 1 for the playoff, and Evelina absolutely smacked a drive up to like, I think she only had like 100-foot approach or something like that. It was like a par 5, like 700 something feet or something like that. Like, you know, they're up super high, so that helps like with the distance. Missy Gannon, they did a good job, the people with the cameras, because Missy always has that pre-shot ritual where she like breathes and like collects herself, which is really cool. It's kind of like her thing, and you could tell that she was taking like a little extra time on that one. And I mean, she puts it in play, and then it comes down. They both do their approaches. They're both in the circle. It comes down to Evelina being just outside bullseye and having to make a putt, and she putts it just a little too high, and it hits off the band. And then
Dude, that
Missy
sounds like
Gannon,
me.
Missy Gannon just drops in her putt after that. It was the most anticlimactic, like deflating moment where they're just looking. Everyone's like bewildered. They're like,
happened?
yeah, they're like, they don't even know what to say. It's just quiet. And then Missy Gannon just is like, just walks up and just taps it out. And Evelina's like this, like hands on her head. Yeah, it's
that's tough.
it definitely is. It's super tough to watch. But I mean, these are like the trials that you go through. You know, Evelina, she's doing her job in the sense that she's putting herself in contention to win. But it just comes down to that final thing that people like to roast her about. And, you know, it is, at this point, it is for good reason.
But she's gotten a lot better, and now she's starting to win.
Completely.
So.
And that's what I'm saying. That's kind of what it takes. Like, you keep getting put in these situations, and you will win eventually, which she has, and I'm sure she will continue to do that. Any other points regarding that tournament?
Yeah, it was beautiful. Props to everyone out there for their hard work and making it kind of a glimpse into disc golf's future, and kind of accommodating the pros and making them feel special. I think that's huge because, you know, they're always going to be buzzing about that, which is gonna. I think the pros are the main product, and, you know, I think they are the biggest driving factor for pretty much a lot of things in disc golf. That without the pros, disc golf just isn't as successful. So I think their opinion and I guess status helps kind of grow the sport a lot too, because, you know, I think they're the most, their opinions is the most valued. Like Simon posting, like, he can't stop raving about the tournament, and, you know, people are going to take notice of that.
Yeah, completely. It almost felt like being a professional in disc golf merely meant a difference in skill level, and at a tournament like this, it really did feel like a difference in status level, where it just makes these individuals seem important. and
Unattainable.
yeah, completely.
Snobby.
Absolutely snobby.
Snobber.
Oh yeah, the other thing was Kristen Tatar.
We did talk. Yeah.
Oh, did you guys
we
talk
talk
about
that off camera. So, but yeah, let's get into that, and then
it? Okay.
we'll wrap.
Well, yeah. I mean, you guys can just reiterate then if you would like to. I mean, I saw after round one, I was like, where is she? Wasn't she like tied for 10th or something like that?
Yeah, she shot like a
She shot
950
even.
round.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
That's
kind of
brutal.
crazy. I mean, we kind of talked about it off camera, but we think it probably just had to do with like she's playing in her home country, like in front of her home crowd. I'm sure it was jitters. It's kind of reminiscent of when she lost Champions Cup a few years ago to Paige Pierce on that short
Yeah.
putt. Like
Yeah.
the pressure definitely gets to her still. Like not most of the time, most of the time she's lights out, but we can see like evidence of her being mortal from time to time, and I feel like that this tournament was some of that evidence, because she wasn't ever in contention for it at all, and still I think she finished 10th or something like that.
Yeah, I believe
which is
so.
very shocking. So
Yeah, I think
who knows?
I think
She's
it's just
not done.
testament to the FBO field and how like It's funny because Kristen's 1,000 rated, and she averaged like 950, which is still really good, even in this FBO field. But it's crazy how it's barely good enough to get into the top 10 now. That's just how much this sport has grown, especially in the FBO field. And I'm telling you, there's going to be like Ellie Ezra or or Emily Weatherman, or there's going to be way more that are just going to disrupt the sport soon, where it's going to be like 10-10s, 10-20s are more common than not.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't have any more thoughts regarding that tournament. If you guys do.
No, yeah,
Otherwise,
I think that was good.
We'll outro. Otherwise, we'll outro the episode, I guess.
Yeah, I think that was good, folks, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's do it.
Hope you enjoyed
peeps. Yeah, thank you, everyone. We appreciate the support that you guys give us. You could be listening to anything
love you.
right now. You could be watching the Olympics. You could be doing anything, and you're choosing to take the time to listen to our podcast. And that means a lot because we live in a
appreciate
time
you.
everyone makes podcasts. You went with
Fact.
Funsie. Thank you, guys.
Yes, yes, and please keep sticking with us.
Please like, comment, subscribe, rate us, all the good stuff. Is that all I got? Is that all you guys got?
Yeah. Thanks for watching
Cool.
another episode, y'all.
Yo, the Funsie experience. It'd be outie.
Sajko, you gotta end it with a Funsie. Let's go.
Funsie?